Greetings, and welcome to the YouTube Velvet Room. It has been quite some time since you graced me with your presence, hasn't it? And I see you have brought an intriguing guest this time. And she is... Okay guys, I'll level with you here, kill the special effects, future editing, Andy. I haven't finished Persona 4 Arena, therefore... I don't know much about labrys, so yeah, I can't really do one of these fluffy with the gloves on and the jacket and the lights beating on me, making me super hot. So yeah, let's just get on with it and look at Figma labrys, and be very sad that we don't have any of the other Persona 4 Figmas on the way. Bad move, Max Factory. But let's look at labrys. So here is Figma labrys from Persona 4 Arena. Hey, guess what guys? She's a little robot girl. I know! And I mean, you can tell this by all of the robot details, like, I don't know, her crazy robo legs, her weird little brace thing around her spine, her robot arms, and hey, the weird headpiece and wires coming out of her head. Yeah, she's not really fooling anybody, is she? But she does have some nice hair that goes from a nice solid colour to a bit more of a translucent-y, glassy look to it, which is pretty cool. I really do like that. And it's probably a detail they didn't have to do. The faces are all really good, as usual, with the Figma stuff. So, yeah, overall, she's got a very strong aesthetic, a really good-looking figure. And of course, we'll, as usual, have a look at the articulation on labrys here first. So let's start off at the bottom. There is, of course, the stand here, but it'll help. The little tiny feet are on little ball joints. And you know, can rotate a bit. They do help a lot more than say Igus, who I have here. Igus's feet were kind of, you know, like this and had these clear parts on just to help us stand. But they are a lot cleaner and look a lot nicer than on labrys, I should say, than on Igus here. So let's first by taking out the stand here, and I'll show you the hair, because it was quite cool, as I mentioned before, with the translucentiness there. And what's neat is the hair's designed so the stand can fit in between here to get to the peg in the back, which is pretty neat, really. So let's move that out the way, and we'll move the arms to a bit of a better position to go. The head, of course, goes up and down and wobbles a little bit. And goes left and right, of course. The hair is on a couple of joints. We've got one bit here for the metal attached to these wires, so be careful just in case. The hair itself can move this far out and go left and right as well, which is kind of neat. Get some wind action going. The arms here, the shoulders, go out to only this far, which is a bit of a shame. The shoulders also have the inner ball joint, which is quite cool, and swivel around a little bit. We have a bicep swivel, which I forget to show. And the arms can move forward and back, of course, and the elbows can go about 90 this way, which I would have liked better, but whatever. And if you like, you can also bend them the wrong way. We also have a forearm swivel here, which is really useful because we do have the wrist joint here, and it does swivel, but the way that these are designed is that this little panel nicely fits over the top of the hand. So it reduces the wrist movement, but that's why they're giving you, obviously, the forearm swivel as well, so you can get that nice movement in. So that's kind of nice planning ahead as well. Okay, move the camera back out. And we will, well, here's the plastic bit. As before with other Figmas I've had, we've got a rubbery body over the top here. So she does have an ab crunch, but it doesn't stick. Like, you can move her down, but she doesn't stick in place there, which is always a bit of a shame. A waist joint. Which is a little bit fiddly to use, but it's okay. We've got these metal parts, but don't move. Well, they're not metal, but you know. We have a tiny skirt, as usual, for Robot Girl. We have a thigh swivel. We have... The legs can move forward, but because of how the legs are designed, it doesn't go too well. But you need to kind of move them outwards to get them this far in. You know, it's not a straightforward motion. It's more... You have to finagle around with them a bit to get them how you want it to work. And it goes back that far. And we've, of course, got the double-jointed knee, which works really well, at least, which I'm happy about. And under the skirt, we have added detail, since she's a robot girl, of course. Hang on, come on, camera. Come on. There we go. As you can see, this is the reason why the legs don't work desperately well, because it has that weird-looking way to put the legs in, which was a bit of a shame, really. But they work for the most part. They do the job they have to. And she... she's just got this really nice stance to her. Or you can do. If the feet were a little bigger, she probably would be able to do it herself, but usually you need to get the stand and plug her in, or use the axe, which I'll show you later. And, you know, you stand her up there, and I don't know, let's get her into a random pose. Yeah, she wants to fight, her legs up like that, and I don't know, maybe she wants to kick you. Whoop, there we go. Maybe like a flying kick, so she can go, watcha! Watcha! So when you're sad of just doing a normal Wachao with closed fists, you can do it with many different fists, or hands as they're also called. We have open things hands, so you can slap people. You've got karate chopping hands, holdy things hands that are big, and holdy things hands that are small. You want to use the bigger ones really for her accessories, which we'll get onto later. But with these, you can all Wachao in different manners, and perhaps even pose her in different ways, who knows. But I know you guys are probably well versed in the Figma line for the most part, so I bet you won't be surprised when I say she's got some accessories. What accessories are they, Andy? Well, why don't I tell you? So, of course, her first accessory is her jetpack. Not an axe, a jetpack. It's got some movable wires in there so they don't snap. Some joints here that don't really do anything. Generally, it's got a really nice look to it, even though it's a bizarre backpack. But let's connect it to Labrys now, because it's a fairly simple process of lifting up a hair, plugging it into a back, and then just straightening out the wings to your preferred desire, really. And that's it. You've got it all jet-packed up and ready to fly off to battle, or fly away from battle, I suppose. There's really one thing to mention, though, and that's all of this weight on her back, and these teeny little feet mean that she can't stand up too well just on her own with all this stuff, so that's why, of course, they give you the stand. And it does have a hole in the back there, so you lift up her hair, peg it in just like this, and there you go. As long as you have a good center of gravity, she will, you know, fly around and be happy as can be, you know, as one little robot can be on a jetpack on a stand. But this is going to surprise you guys. With a couple of changes to the jetpack, boom, it becomes an axe. And here it is, the giant axe. This thing is huge. I mean, it's bigger than the figure herself. It is a little bit weighty in the top just because of all the extra oomph it has right at the top here, but this is why, you know, we have the stand, we have the peg hole, and what you can do is peg it in there, and it really does help a lot in supporting and posing the figure with her axe, and give you some dynamic looking poses as well that she can be in while, you know, swinging her axe around and doing all that other crazy robot stuff with axes that you tend to do in life, right? But if you don't think her calm face really suits the ferocity of throwing around a giant axe, hey, guess what? You can replace them with these two faces. And for those that don't know, I will show you how to replace them right now. It's easy enough. You pull off her hair, you rip off her lovely tender flesh, and replace it with some more tender flesh, and then the hair goes right back on, and there you go, you have a new Labrys with some lovely flesh attached to her meat bone. So we got her with a crazy shadow face when she's all evil and whatnot, and then we have a screaming angry face when she's gonna cut you hella good with her big ass axe. And then finally we have this extra hairpiece which has this weird night visor on, which, trust me, it makes sense in the game's context. Sort of. But I do have a problem with the shadow face here. I think the skin tone is way too dark. I know it's meant to be an evil shadow face, but it's not quite right for me. But moving on from faces, next up we have a chain, a fixed chain. Mine's got a little bit of a problem actually. The end here is not perfectly round, so it doesn't actually fit onto the arm here, which is a bit of a pain, but luckily they give you a more movable chain, which is good, and this one does happily fit onto her arm, which is just as well. So how does it work, you ask? Well, you pop off her arm, you stick the thingy on here, and then you pop it back, and then you can add, this fire burst effect through the other end, and then add the end of the arm back on, and there you go. That's the effect done, really. And when you have it like this, and it's all wobbly and whatnot. With the fixed one, it's more fixed, but I like this because you can fly it around like it's crazy. It's just a shame this one doesn't work, for me anyway. I'm not willing to strengthen it out or anything, just in case. You know, it happens to break. It wouldn't be a good idea, but you can use this stand, which is an extra one with this handle. It does have an extra handle, which I'll show you in a bit, but you can use it for posing the hand if you want, or using it for a giant Red Bull of death. It's obviously one of her finishing moves and a giant effect part, which is really neat and detailed and looks great. And you also got this one as well, which is another special attack that she can do with these. They look really nice. It doesn't show up desperately well on the black background here, but trust me, these things look good. Maybe it shows a bit better than I'm making it out to, but no, I'm really happy with these things. It's great to have these effects parts. They are neat, real neat. Now, there are a lot of good things about Labrys. She has a lot of stuff to play with and a lot of posability and stuff. The issue you have is, because of the size of her axe, you need to spend a bit more time posing her and fiddling with her to get her into a good-looking pose. She's not quite as pick-up-and-play as, say, Chie or Yukiko seem to be, at least in my opinion, of course. And she is more expensive because of all the extra accessories and stuff. I think I paid like 3,600 yen on her at Ami. So it is expensive, but if you like Persona 4 and Persona 4 Arena, that kind of fiction, and you dig the aesthetic and you're willing to put in a bit of time, you get a lot out of her. You just need to be aware of she is big, she is quite expensive, and you need to be careful, of course, of the axe and some of the other parts on her. Just, you know, it is a Japanese toy. It's not for rough and tumble kind of play, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, and of course, I would have preferred maybe the shadow face to have been a bit better. And it's, again, a real shame that the three faces you get are a still standard face looking to the side. I wish it would just look straightforward or give you the option. The battle face is good, and the shadow face, as I mentioned before, I've got a few little issues with here and there. But that's really about it. You know, if you've liked what you've seen here, go out and get her. Just be aware that that axe is very, very big, guys. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in another video in the future. So catch you peeps on the other side of the coin. Yep. Coin.